Bloody Mary, my story. When I was young, very young, I was not a horror lover, so every time I watched a scary movie, I had nightmares. My story starts at school. I was in the 5th grade, an outcast from the other kids. Well, we were all in the girls' bathroom, and one girl started talking about Bloody Marys. She said, if you turn off the lights in the bathroom, lock the door, light one candle, and spin around 3 times, looking into a mirror and say Bloody Mary 3 times, she'll show up behind you. I was very doubtful of this, but I thought I'd prove it wrong. Now, as I said, I was a scaredy cat as a child, so I didn't do it in the way that she said. I had all the lights off, but it was in the daytime, and I was in my room, not the bathroom. I lit a candle. I stole my mother's lighter while she was napping. I looked in the vanity mirror and said Bloody Mary 3 times while turning around. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. I had my eyes closed the entire time, and when I opened them and looked into the mirror, there she stood behind me. She had an anxious, long, nappy, black hair, sunken in eyes, painted red lips. She wore a white gown stained with blood, and her skin also had traces of blood on it. I began to panic. I turned around and nothing was there. But then I turned back to the mirror. She still stood there. Then she began to speak. I couldn't hear what she said because I began to hyperventilate. I fell to my knees, and when I eventually got back up that night, there were bloody handprints on my mirror. I immediately cleaned it up and threw a blanket over the mirror. That night, I felt like I was being watched, but I refused to open my eyes. My clueless mother never noticed something was wrong with me. Every time I passed by a mirror, I could feel Bloody Mary watching me. I refused to look into a mirror. A month later, I thought I was safe from her, so I took the blanket off my mirror. I looked into it, and I only saw myself in my room. Nothing more. I sighed in relief and went onto my business in my room. That night, while I was sleeping, I heard a bell ring. It didn't sound like any bell I had heard from before. Then I heard her speak again. Her words still burn into my brain like an undying flame. Little children who sleep the night away shall be met with a terrible fate. May blood stain their body and their broken bones. This bell will ring out, but none shall be saved. I was deeply afraid, much too afraid to open my eyes, but I couldn't fall back to sleep. The next night, the same thing happened. That horrible bell rang. Her voice came to me again. Little girl who sleeps upon this bed, you've escaped your death's hand, but not again. You'll be met with the same fate that I have met. Sweet nightmares, sweet girl, you'll soon be dead. I was really scared now, so much so I couldn't stand it. I shot open my eyes. My room was empty. I looked over at the mirror, and there was bloody stains on the mirror. I turned over to my window and tried to get back to sleep, with no avail. The next day I went over to my grandmother's house for the day. I got on her computer to search up Bloody Mary. When I did, I clicked on multiple websites and read origin stories. They were horrible and different. I didn't want to die like this, let alone at all. I was only 10, almost 11 for God's sake. My grandmother's computer started jumping around, and it crashed, but right before it did, Bloody Mary's face covered the screen. I backed away from the computer and had my grandpa try to fix it. He had to get me a new computer entirely. I was screwed, very screwed. But who would I go to help who would I go to get help for this? They would think I'm crazy or just silly little child. The two friends I had wouldn't understand. They were goody teacher pets. I had no idea where to go next. I put a blanket over the mirror again, hoping it would help. I never told anyone of my experience until now. Even today, 5 years after it all happened, I can't look at myself in the mirror the same way. Never look at what's standing behind you in the mirror, because you know you might not like what it is.